The final week of the winter sports season is through, and it culminated with the Indoor National Track and Field Championships. On today's show, the men's and women's track and field teams will be in studio to discuss nationals. Before we get to that, though, a look at other occurrences in North Central athletics. Lacrosse season is underway. The Lady Cardinals began the season with a 1-1 start, with an overtime win over Aurora University and a loss to Albion College. Then came Carroll University over the weekend. And that's where North Central found its stride. The genesis for NCC's first CCIW win came from scoring the opening 6 goals of the game. Claire Norfleet and Gina Fisher scored 5 goals each, an astounding performance, and a 22-4 win puts the Cardinals at 2-1. Up next, the matchup with Cornell College in Iowa over the weekend. The baseball team has already seen its ups and downs through this fledgling season. On opening day, a 3-1 loss to Luther College was followed by a monstrous 30-0 win over Lawrence University. Yes, you heard me, 30. That started a 3-game win streak, but that was followed by a 3-game losing streak, and not a run scored in both losses to Adrian College over the weekend. In the weekend cap at Franklin College, an 11-6 win moves North Central to 4-4 on the season, heading to Florida for the Rustmat Invite. And Leighton Binion, featured on last week's show, is now an All-American at the 141-pound weight class. He came into the national championships unseeded, but that didn't matter. Even after an opening match loss to Kerry Palmer of Hunter College, a 5-2 decision, he pinned Ben Hennel of St. John's and moved himself into a match against Jacoby Bergeron, the 3rd seed from Concordia Moorhead, where Binion scored the upset, 9-7. Binion got all the way to the 5th place match, but lost to Nick Steger, 6th place for Binion, a career best, making him North Central's 16th wrestling All-American, as he finishes the season 33-10. Nathan Seagull concluded his NCC career 0-2 at the championships, but certainly had a successful season himself, no doubt about that. He ends his career 85-53 overall. On the way, as promised, the men's and women's track and field teams. Kari Kluckhohn, Frank Gramarosso, the head coaches, and several All-Americans and national champions to join as well. You've got the Cardinal Report.
Life's taught me a lot, and I'm ready for more.
Well, you're not the typical kind of candidate that I hire, but you are exactly what I'm looking for.
Your company could be missing out on the candidates it needs most. Learn how to find a great pool of untapped talent at gradsoflife.org.
We now welcome in the head coach of the men's track and field team, Frank Gramarosso. Frank, how was your flight back home?
It was good. I got home early, so had the whole day to rest. I was a little worried if the bus was going to pick up the guys. I couldn't get a hold of the bus company, and I was calling all morning and finally got a hold of them because they never gave me the number of the driver to call to pick them up. I thought, I'm going to have to get a school van and go pick them all up. But I was home early.
Oh, you know, much more smooth for me, though. I got home right away, didn't have to call anybody, but you know what, how about we get into the actual reason we were in North Carolina for the Indoor National Championships. For North Central, what a long wait you had before you actually got into any competition.
Yes, we had to wait long on Friday, and I think within about 12 minutes, we had 3 events and put up some points on the board, and then had to wait the whole day on Saturday till the second to last event to score some more. But we did a tremendous job. I mean, we really maximized the points of the guys we had there, and just came up a little short off the podium. So that's our main goal, is to get one of those trophies, but we were a little short. Despite
the long wait, by the time your team did actually get moving into some events, it immediately turned into the busiest day one I can remember in recent years. I even went back and looked at some of the footage of old events. This had to be the most recent busy day one in a long time. Yeah, well, we've had some busier days in some events, but they were spread out. Certainly, the pole vault's still going on, and then the 5,000 meters, and then those 2 events are over, and we're in another one, the DMR, and it was great to see. And that second place was there for a few hours on Saturday anyway. Well, you had a very successful day, too. It was very busy, but at the end of the day, you go home, you have to be very happy. You have 2 national titles, 4 All-Americans. What was the bright spot of the whole thing for you?
Well, that was the bright spot, and even when you look at what our athletes performed to get into the competition, they, obviously some guys perform a lot better, and some don't get quite what they did to come in with their rankings. And like I said, I really think we maximized our points. Travis was ranked second in the 5K, and he wins it. And Ben was ranked 8th, and he got 8th, and we got 9th and 10th, and we were ranked 9th and 12th. So at least they're going there and competing against everybody who's there. And of course, Luke was ranked number 1, and he finished number 1. So the DMR was ranked 4th, and we finished 4th. So those are some great accomplishments to be able to come in what you were ranked at and either get ahead of that or stay the same.
You have 4th place finish in DMR, but overall, you finish 5th, just out of the top 4, and you have St. Olaf win the whole thing. Does that hurt? Does that hurt to see, you were right there, you were just on the cusp, and you just missed by 2 points? Yeah,
well, they have a great distance program just like ours. They won 2 years ago, and they were second this year in cross country, so we know that they have the distance runners. It was a little disappointing to have the events we were in, and they only had 3 athletes, but they were stud athletes. I mean, they took 2 first, a second, and a 4th, and 2 points ahead of us. So they were, got the 4th place trophy, and it stung a little bit, but that just is going to help us for outdoors. You got to have a little few more bodies. I mean, it was you see a school like Mount Union, they had like 2 thirds, 2 fourths, 2 sixths, a winner, and I think 2 sevenths. You need those 3 points, 2 points, 4 points to all add up, and they covered 9 events. So that's our goal, is to get enough people there like that, so you can have some come through and be national champion, and others be in the middle of the pack, and others just scrape that 1 or 2 points.
The pole vault had to be the most intense competition of the whole thing. I saw you there watching the brunt of that event. Did you feel the intensity sitting from the side?
Sure, and even though Luke was ranked number 1, he had some great competitors who really PR'd and did a great job. I mean, the last I can remember is when we were in with 4 athletes in California, where we went 1, 2, 3, and they just kept, everyone was getting a PR. Peter Garrity and Josh and Woody, they were all getting PRs, and fortunately there were 3 of them, so we were 1, 2, 3. But that was probably the last time I think the vault was really intense. Certainly last year was a down year, and now the future looks bright with a lot of underclassmen in that vault.
Well, Luke was no surprise winning despite the closeness of the entire pole vault, but I'll tell you what might have been a little bit of a surprise. Morrison winning the 5K.
Well, again, he was ranked 2nd going in, so our expectations were high, and he's been doing all the right things, and he's going to compete. Some of those schools, especially out east, they get in these big Division I meets, and they just tag along, and they come up with great times, and sometimes necessarily they don't compete very well when the competition is all together. And we know he's a competitor. He did a great job, and that was fabulous to see, So 2 wins inside like 3 or 4 minutes as Luke finished, and then Morrison finished. And, of course, Ben getting 8th, where he was ranked.
The thing also is that the 5K, let's face it, that's a very, very long race. The 3K is also a very long race, and Morrison had to run in them both. How do you think he dealt with having to be doubled?
I think that's the first time both him and Sabat actually doubled in a meet. Even at the conference championship, we had them just run the 3K because they had to improve their time to get in. But the plan all along was for them to qualify in both 5K and 3K and run those at nationals. But then again, I think we were ranked 8th and 10th, and we ended up 4th and 9th. So you're doing better than you did to get in there. That's a great accomplishment. And 2 PRs for Travis. It was just fabulous to see that.
Well, hopefully the success carries over into the outdoor season. Thanks again for being on.
Thank you.
All right, coming up, national champions Luke Winder and Travis Morrison. This is TCR.
They told me a bottle couldn't dream. That I would never become a superhero. But I learned how to fly. Just to come back in a new disguise and be the hero that I've always wanted to be.
You're now with pole vaulter Luke Winder and distance runner Travis Morrison of the men's track and field team. Guys, nice to see you.
Nice to see you too.
Nice to be here.
And both of you are national champions. For some, we'd only be talking about All-Americans, but you guys won everything. It's got to feel great to be a national champion, Travis.
Yes, it's absolutely wonderful. I was very pleased with the results and how they came out in both the 5K and the 3K this weekend.
Luke, for you, I'm not at all surprised you won a national championship. I think everybody has very, very high expectations for you. Can we expect 8 of them before your time is said and done at North Central?
You know, I don't know. That's a tough task to have at hand, and it's going to take a lot of work, and I just got to make sure to stay focused and listen to my dad, and I think things could hopefully play out like that.
Well, the way things played out at your event in the pole vault, so intense. You can feel it everywhere. Everybody watching was feeling it. Were you feeling it too?
Yeah. With everyone watching, with the vault in the middle of the track, it kind of made it a lot more exciting because you knew you had everyone watching you, and it's always nice having my dad there to encourage me even more, and he's also my coach, so it obviously helps out a lot.
Travis, at one point, you got into first place in the 5K. When you finally slipped up to the front, was that when you really started to feel it? Were you nervous at that moment?
I was not nervous. I had that move planned for some months even, and I had prepared for that. And I knew when I took over that Jenkins, the runner from Stout, was definitely feeling it because I kept clipping his heels. So I knew from that point on that I had to keep the gas on to break them. So,
how did you feel going into day 2 after running such a long race? The 5K is a very long race, and you go into day 2 and the 3K is a little bit shorter, but still a lot of work.
Yeah, it is quite a bit of work to do, but thankfully in the 5K, I didn't have to exert myself as hard as I thought I would have to, and so I was able to actually feel pretty good on Saturday, and I was very happy with that result as well.
Luke, you had to exert yourself a lot harder than you might have thought you had to with Tim Moses and Andrew Bartnett. Those two were outstanding, and you can't say enough good about them, can you?
Yeah, no. Whenever I go into a competition, I never count out anyone. Even if my PR is a foot higher than them or a foot lower than them, anyone could jump anything on any day, or run anything on any day. And it was nice having them be able to perform the way they did, because it really helped my dad and I get into a position that someday I'm going to be in again, and eventually at maybe a higher level. And that's the kind of pressure I need to be put in every once in a while to be able to perform the way that I can.
And a lot of your pressure comes from being a winder. The name comes with so much expectations, and you get off on the right foot. Does that add pressure, having to move forward with the winder?
It adds pressure, but I think it's more. I'm more proud to be a winder and proud to have had my brothers both be as successful as they are and my dad be as successful as he is. And it's really nice to be able to know that my dad and I are going to continue to work together to hopefully perform well in my future career.
While Winder is continuing his legacy, Travis, you are actually continuing a legacy you might not have thought about. John Crane, you won the events that he's known for winning. What did you learn from him that might have helped you along the way?
I mean, it starts, way back from when the program started in the 60s. And those, runners passed on their information to those runners, and then all the way through, through the 90s till now. And the workouts that I was doing were workouts that even Kyle Brady had done and John Crane did, and running their style of race to see, where they made mistakes. When Johnny was a junior, he took second the 5K because he made a move too early, and I learned from that, and that's sort of what I did. I had to practice the patience that John Crane did when he did win both those events, and so that's what I really focused on doing, was taking, not only their successes but their mistakes, and then incorporating them into my race plan and strategy.
Luke, outdoor is on the way. How about we get into some of your teammates? Spencer LaHaye, he's been really improving. How is the whole group of pole vaulters as a whole done for you?
Yeah, we have 2 other freshmen. They're injured right now, but definitely I know we, as a vault team, are really working hard, and I know that if things turn out right, if the weather's good, we can all jump a bar that can qualify us to the national meet, and it'd be awesome to definitely have Spencer and Nick and some other people with me down there, because it's just a lot of fun having people to be able to cheer you on. I don't know if you saw, but like lacrosse had 2 guys there, and they were just so excited for each other. And it's just awesome. I remember watching my brother and the other vaulters here, whenever they would make bars, it's kind of working off each other's success. So I think that'd be fun.
You guys missed top 4 by just 2 points. And it's so tough because the 4x4 team just missed qualifying, just barely. There was Femi missing in the high jump just by a bit, and then also Adam Wiedner tantalizingly close. Is it a tough pill to swallow, knowing that you were right there, but just missed out on the top 4?
We absolutely, we were really close, but we just need more bodies. We were able to take the performers that we have there, and they did the best that they could, and we gave the best effort that we had, but we just need more points.
Luke, your thoughts on that?
Yeah, just as him and Coach were saying that we just need more people. I mean, we all performed the best that we possibly could, and we performed to the best of our ability. And, you know, if we have more people, no matter if they're performing well, if they're just getting 9th place or 8th place, just getting us 1 point, it's contributing to the team, and that's really what we need.
At the end of the day, unbelievably successful. You guys made everyone proud, and thanks for being on the show.
Thank you.
Thanks for having us.
All right, joining us in a few moments will be Kari Kluckhohn. Stay tuned.
Huntington! Every proper bear knows that the right fit means everything. Especially when it comes to car seats.
Oh, really? I just did what any bear would do.
So know for sure that your child is in the right car seat for their age and size.
I like it.
To learn more, visit safercar.gov/the-right-seat.
Oh, hello there. Oh, where's that bear?
Now the head coach of the women's track and field team, Kari Kluckhohn, is with us. How are you doing, Kari?
Doing great. Thank you very much. Thanks for having us.
And I know you're doing great because when I saw you at the Indoor National Championships, you seemed awfully happy, genuinely happy. It was so good to see that. What was that sparked by?
Well, we had a great meet. The women that represented North Central did very well. We had 3 of 4 All-Americans, and we all had great performances. Our one that didn't receive All-American status had an excellent race, so basically at her PR in her first time ever being at the National Championship. So we really just capped off 2 excellent days for North Central.
One of your All-Americans that you referred to there, Ebony Stallworth, the last 2 seasons, she finished 9th, so just on the cusp of getting into the top 8. This season finally finds a way into the top 8. It had to feel nice to see her really make the jump.
Oh, and she was thrilled as well. We were so excited to see that. You know, when you get to the national championships as a senior and you've been there on your 3rd time and you've been right there every time, you know, the goal is just to be able to come home with the hardware, whatever place it is, it is. And she was a strong competitor, getting in the finals, you know, the last 2 years as well, but being 9th and now being able to come home with hardware, it was really exciting to see. And
it's a very serious event, an indoor national championship, the best of the best, all joining up in one place. And to have Ebony, very talented, but her personality is so light. She keeps things very lighthearted, very joyous, sparkling personality. Does that help keep things light in a serious situation like Indoor National Championships? Yeah, she's very focused when she competes, but she also has such a love of her event that she can really dig down and get a big throw out. So the fun part, too, with her is when she does well, you can just see how happy she is with it. And when she saw that she was All-American, you could just... we all felt great because you could see how much it meant to her, and we all joined in with that as well. You know, certainly a great thing to see. And you know, speaking of personality, Madison Renfro, we all know the personality that's there. She hits the podium as well. How did it feel to see all her hard work pay off too? It was excellent, and when you can actually become an All-American with a new varsity record as well as obviously a personal record, that was just really exciting. It was a really hot race. Prelims, she had a little bit of a malfunction with her block. Fortunately, she made it through the finals. She kept us on our toes for a few minutes, but we knew coming back into the finals it was going to be a big race, and I told her beforehand you can run just as fast out of lane 1 as lane 5, and she already knows that, and she had a great race. Another All-American, Liz Composto, 4th straight at the Indoor National Championships. Does that speak to her consistency, 4 straight? Oh yeah, definitely so. And she's been jumping great all season. She had a great mindset going into it. She's been very competitive all year, and she's had had big goals for the whole season. She was clean all the way up until the height she went out at, meaning she made first attempts on everything until her final height. She was very happy with the event. She wanted that height. She'd been jumping at it a couple times, but she was very satisfied overall. One place where she hasn't been close, though, is winning an outdoor All-American. It's so odd. It wins 4 straight indoor All-Americans, but for some reason, when we get to the outdoor season, things seem to change.
Well, part of it last year, actually, she was injured. Going into indoor nationals, she was injured, and we were very concerned with how that was going to play out, but she was plagued with that injury all of outdoor season. And when you get outdoor, the weather, the cold, it was a hamstring issue, so when you have something like that, and you have to sprint every time you're going hard down the runway, it's a lot different. So really, I would say last year's situation was more based off of that than anything. So I have no concerns about outdoor for her. She doesn't either. She's a senior, she's seasoned, she's very healthy. There's nothing to be worried about, and she's really excited for the season.
What sort of events in general do you think right now the team is more suited for outdoor than indoor, especially with it looming right now?
Really, there's a big transition when you go from indoor to outdoor, when you go from the 100, or you go to the 100 and the 100 hurdles versus the 60 and the 60 hurdles. You get the 10,000 in there, you get javelin in there, discus. Those are some new events, the steeplechase. There are a lot of new events that come into play. So in a lot of those areas, we clearly have women in those similar events from indoor. As you transition to outdoor, though, I think that they're even going to be stronger.
If you can pick one name that you expect to have a real breakout season in outdoor, who might it be?
That's a hard question because I think we have a lot of women that
put it on the spot.
Yeah, I won't pick one person actually because I think we have a very balanced team across the board, and I think as we get into some of those events, you're going to see basically really good, strong groups of people. I think we'll have a great 4x1. We were very close last year to qualifying for nationals. We're way better this year, and it's the same group. So I think that they're going to do an excellent job. Once we get in, the 10K, Megan was close last year. She was just a second or two off of making nationals last year, and she just had her first experience this past weekend in the 5 at nationals. So I think that that's going to be, an exciting event as she has a group of people to train with. But I think hammer, when you put Lena, in the hammer, she's been to nationals now twice and was on the national list in the weight throw. But the hammer is her real love. So I think when you get a senior in that situation, those are some additional opportunities that we have. There are a few others too. Our high jumpers are right there. I think we have a good group of women that have a chance to make it to nationals.
All right, Kari, well, we know it was a long trip back, so thank you for coming in despite the fatigue.
Thank you very much. It's been great to be here.
All right, coming up, some more All-Americans. Ebony Stallworth and Madison Renfro on TCR.
Today is Saturday. 60 minutes of physical activity a day and eating well can help get your child healthy. Get ideas, get involved, get going at letsmove.gov. That's letsmove.gov.
Here with Ebony Stallworth and Madison Renfro. Nice to see you guys.
Nice to see you too.
And you're coming off a nice trip to North Carolina. That had to be fun to be with your team on the road. But when it comes down to the nitty-gritty and how you performed, how did you feel about the overall team's performance? We'll start with you, Ebony.
Honestly, it felt really great. We're all cheering for each other and very supportive. We had great energy, so having that to bounce back off of each other, it was really great. So.
Madison, how did you feel about your performance? You had a 2-day thing going on. Day 1, day 2, the block malfunction, a lot to talk about there. But start with day 1. How did you feel about that?
Well, day 1, I felt good going into the race, and I was really excited. But then the blocks had a mishap. It raised on me in the set, and I had to really fight to get that finish. Yeah. And it was upsetting, but I had to shake it off. When I found out I made it to finals, I just had to shake it off and go to day 2.
That's got to make you feel really just in the moment when that happens. Must have been a real surprise.
Yeah, it was a big shock. I was just kind of, disappointed in what happened, but after I finished, you can't really do anything about it. I tried my best, and afterwards, found out that I made it through, so just had to be happy about it.
And Ebony, what you have to be happy about is for the last 2 years, I mentioned this to your coach, you finish 9th, which you need to finish 8th to be an All-American. That's got to be tantalizing to come so close 2 straight years, and then this year you finally make it happen. How do you feel about that?
I feel really awesome. Like, literally, been training hard and working hard with every coach that I've been with, and Chelsea Armstrong's been working with me through this whole season, and my teammates have been there and helping me, supporting me. So it's honestly been an amazing feeling. I didn't matter what place I got. I was just happy that I got it. So I was like, yes, this is awesome. So.
And you had a lot of tough competition between Sheree Reeves and Giselle Klotz, both outstanding in what they do. What did you do to prepare for such tough competition?
Well, honestly, we see each other, all year round, so we're very used to each other. So it doesn't matter what ranking you go into from the meet; it matters that day. So it's anybody's game, anybody's event that day. So honestly, if you're, ranked first, who knows what could happen? So everybody keeps fighting for it, and we'll just go for it.
Madison, the 60 meters, it's such a short race. It only lasts 8 seconds. Do you like that, or do you hate that?
I like it. It feels long for me because, I don't know, each hurdle you can just see where you're at, and when coming out of the blocks like where you are in the race, and it feels long for me, but I love it.
Did having your back against the wall on day 1 or day 2, did that spark you, considering there's less pressure during the preliminary?
Yeah, I was, after that the first day, I was ready to just go out and crush it. I was really excited, and I wanted to PR so bad, and I did, so that was awesome.
And Ebony, back to your success too. It's a great story, like I mentioned, but is there an amazing feeling of relief to finally be an All-American? How does it feel?
Well, honestly, I don't know. It feels like it's still going on. Like, it's not over. Like, I can continue. Still have one more season left, so I know my career is not done yet. So hopefully go for one more All-American, and we'll see what happens.
What's so amazing about it is that you've had 4 different coaches in all 4 years. Does that affect your performance in any way? Because in most sports, if you have a different coach every year, it's affecting the way you think. You have to keep adapting to a new person. How have you dealt with that?
Honestly, it hasn't been affecting me. Each coach I learn something new from and take with it, and keep using the training methods that I've learned and incorporate each one and to make one really good program for everything. So I just use it for each type of event that I do, and it's awesome.
Speaking of your coaches, Chelsea Armstrong is your former teammate, and now she's your coach. Yeah. Is it weird calling a former coach or a former player, a teammate, your coach now? No, because even as freshman year, I was getting advice from her. So it's actually, I felt really comfortable. We were on the team together when I was young. When I was a freshman, she was a senior, and I just looked up to her when she would, show me how to, do anything. So now that she's my coach, I feel even more comfortable with her, that I can listen to her as well as take what she's teaching me and just take it in and use it. So. Madison, there is a difference, I'm sure, between running the 60-meter regular versus the 60-meter hurdles. And aside from the obvious difference in that there's hurdles in one race, what are the real differences when it comes down to the technical aspect of it all?
Well, your coming out of the blocks is different. Same settings and everything, but your drive phase is longer. And really, it's kind of a longer race for me. It feels like the open 60, because I'm not going over anything. It feels longer, but there's nothing, there's not that much of a difference, except for the start. So,
Ebony, moving forward, you are going from the weight throw to the hammer throw outdoor. Can you speak about your teammate Lena Baker and what we might expect from her moving into the outdoor season?
With Lena, she's very determined and everything. She trains all year round, so she definitely loves this event, and we expect some really great things from her this season. So big PRs that I'm looking forward to, and she's really going to try to go for it this year for nationals. So it's going to be exciting.
And then finally, any fun stories from the trip to North Carolina? It's always fun to be with your team.
The weather was so beautiful. Oh, it was awesome.
But it was awfully similar to here, though, wasn't it?
Yeah, that's okay.
Yeah, that's fine.
We all got to enjoy it.
Yeah, we'll live. Well, thanks for being on the show today.
Thank you.
All right, with that, the winter season of the Cardinal Report is through, but we begin our hibernation now. It only lasts a week, though. Don't worry, we'll be back this spring, aka 2 weeks from now, with a new episode to kick off the spring season of sports. Thank you for joining us. This has been the Cardinal Report.